Checking there wasn't any supplementary there. No, so I'll go the Honourable Deputy Leader of the Opposition.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, Speaker. My question this morning is to the Minister for Primary Industries. Minister, regional Tasmania relies on fuel for everything. Yesterday, instead of stepping up with solutions, you pushed back the burden onto farmers to come up with ideas to manage this volatility and pressure themselves. It just felt like you were outsourcing the state's responsibility onto the very people that are being hit the hardest. While we appreciate the Premier's update, what are you doing today to keep fuel flowing to our farmers and our fishers to keep our regional economies moving?
Honourable Minister for Primary Industries and Water.
Thank you, Speaker. And I reject the premise of that question. In fact, I feel that, Speaker, I've been verbal to that degree. I said yesterday very clearly, and if you'd have listened instead of having your mouth open interjecting, you would have heard that I raised the farmers as a resilient bunch, as a bunch of adults. Are you listening, or are you going to keep talking and then misconstrue what I'm saying?
Honourable Minister, there is a point of order.
Sure.
Just asking you to clarify whether the Minister should direct his comments through yourself or straight at the Minister.
Thank you. Appreciate. Thank you for the point of order, Honourable Minister. Through the chair. Address the comments through to myself.
Sure, Speaker. As I said yesterday, I'm going to reiterate exactly what I said again. I said that when faced with problems, when faced with issues, when faced with obstacles, farmers are a resilient bunch and they farm around it. That's exactly what I said, and the Hansard will reflect that. I gave no assertion that I was placing blame or responsibility onto the agricultural sector or our farmers. And I refute that completely. Full stop. Let me also say, in answer to the question, that the situation in terms of the Middle East conflict is an ever-evolving issue. What we find today, next week, you'll probably find that that situation is changing. There are 3 carrier fleets in the Gulf at the moment. There are now paratroopers ready to go in. That situation, and I come from that place. I come from the defence background, the signals intelligence side of defence. That situation in a week will change completely. Are you going to listen?
Third warning.
The point I make is this is an ever-evolving situation. The point I make is that our farmers are an adaptive organisation, an adaptive body of great professionals. The point I make is we on this side, instead of barking at the moon and politicising all of this, what we will do is listen to our farmers. We'll apply practical measures. We'll be mature. We'll keep Tasmania governed in the way it deserves, and that is with a mature head. It's times like this where you see the leaders, Speaker. It's times like this when leaders come to the floor. It's times like this when we don't need barking at the moon. We don't need chicken littles. We need adults and we need good government, and we are exactly doing that.
Honourable Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. I have a very clear supplementary question that came from the answer. In the Premier's update this morning, he said he heard from farmers that there are real fuel pressures. You've said that this takes adults to deliver practical measures. My specific question is, Minister, what practical measures have you or are you implementing to support regional Tasmania?
Honourable Minister for Primary Industries and Water.
I thank the member for a supplementary question. And in fact, what I'm doing is in conjunction with the Deputy Premier, listening to the agricultural sector, finding out what their requirements are as we move forward. And we're also communicating with the federal government, who could lift, as the Deputy Premier quite rightly pointed out, could lift that fuel excise and make things a lot easier. If the federal government...
Please sit down, Minister.
Specific question. What
thank you,
practical
Minister.
measures, Speaker?
Bring the Minister to the question.
Speaker, as I said, that fuel excise could go a long way in relieving real pressure for farmers and ordinary Tasmanians who are finding it difficult at this time.
Order.
In fact, I have a question that's probably been burning at me for quite some time. In fact, you
Honourable
were up in
Minister's
Canberra.
time's
What did you do
expired.
about
I
it?
am going